Hello, is anybody here? Hello, is anyone here? Am I all by myself? All by myself? Do wanna be all by myself anymore? Can you hear me? Frankie Joaquin says yes. Can you hear me, Frankie? Yes, you can hear me. It's a freaking miracle. Technology. Sorry before gang. Oh my God. All right, everybody's coming over. So let's give everybody a few minutes to come find this new stream. Meg Davies, who is the executive producer of the virtual choir, is going to be posting the new stream all over the place so everyone can find it. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I'll tell you something funny. This is not new for me. In fact, this has been happening basically since I can remember. Those of you who don't know me, before I was in classical music, I was in pop music. So like age 14, 13, 14. And I remember I have so many horror stories of gigs where I played synthesizers and drum machines, and everything's working fine. And then you get to the performance and you hit something and it doesn't work. I don't know what it is about that ghost in the machine. I'm certain it's the universe trying to tell me, just do acoustic things. Just be acoustic. Because really, what can go wrong with acoustic music? I'm so glad that you're all here, gang. We've got like 130 people here. Before we had over 500 people showing up for the rehearsals. So if you're cool, let's hang out a little bit here, and we'll wait for a few more people to find us. As I said before, Meg Davies, who's the executive producer of the virtual choir, is going to be reposting this new link all over the place so that people can find us. I'm assuming that you've all got your music ready to go. We're going to do a little bit of rehearsing today. I'll talk you through what we're going to do in just a few moments. While we're doing this, I'm just curious, all of you that can hear me, will you type where you're from in the comments? I just want to see where everybody's coming in from. Yeah, just post. I saw somebody, hello from Wyoming. Yeah, nice. Oh, I saw somebody say this is my first rehearsal from the, oh, look at this. There it is. Fantastic, fantastic. Romania, London, Belarus, incredible. Wow, it's so nice. Belgium, I saw Belgium go by, baby.
Yeah, libertari.
Yeah. I have my wife sitting here, just off screen. This is Laurence Servaz, my wife. And she's an extraordinary soprano. So in a few minutes, she's gonna help us warm up once we get a few more people in here. But she's from Belgium. And so every time we see, oh, another one from Belgium. Yay, Belgium.
Belgique.
Thumbs up from, yay, Belgique. Oh, from the Netherlands, there we go. Close, Singapore checking in. Yeah, and also it's funny because we chose this time period because here I'm in Los Angeles, so 10 o'clock is decent for the East Coast. It's okay for Europe, but then people were writing in from Australia saying it's going to be 5 a.m. here. Can we try some other time? And it's also I don't think it's great for Singapore, but I'll find some other times as we do this. Finland, Slovakia. Fantastic. Yeah, I'll find some other times during the day that we can do it so that we make sure that we hit all the time zones around the world. Okay, we're like 410, 415 people. This is great. Welcome back, everybody. So sorry about all the sound issues before. I promise that's not going to happen again. We're figuring all of this out too. So what I thought we would do today is we're going to start pretty simply. First, before we do any of this, I have to say the passion and the intensity with which all of you are joining the choir is just completely overwhelming to me. I can't tell you, I'm glowing inside watching all of this. It's so inspiring. I don't know if you've been looking at the numbers, but as of this morning, we've had, I think, over 21,000 people from 121 countries make a profile on the virtualchoir6.com page. That's extraordinary. Those numbers are just extraordinary. They blow my mind. And so far, I think we've had 300 videos already uploaded from maybe 35 different countries. For comparison, The first virtual choir that we did, we collected videos for about 3 months. This was the Luxa Rumque video, and we had 185 singers from 12 countries. So already by day 3, these numbers are just mind blowing. And what it says to me is I think what it says to all of you who have joined me here today, which is that the world is full of choir geeks. There are just a lot of us out there. And I'm thrilled to be spending this time with you and to be making something really beautiful. So I thought what we'd do today, just to try as a first thing, because I still want to figure out how rehearsals go. As a personal side note, it's an odd thing for me to not be seeing your faces, to be looking into your eyes. It's my favorite thing. I actually prefer rehearsals over performances. I don't know if any of you are like that. I much prefer rehearsals. I find it so intimate and electric, and most of the time that's where the real juice gets found. And so not being able to see all of you as we rehearse, let's try to figure out what our rehearsal looks like. So for today, what I thought we'd do is we're going to warm up together. We'll warm up for like 10 minutes. And as I mentioned, I've got my wife, Laurence Servaz, sitting right next to me. She's going to join us. She's an amazing soprano. Laurence is also from Belgium. So she speaks French and German and Dutch and English. So also if you have questions for her in the comments, it can be auf Deutsch or en français or in Netherlands, whatever language you want to throw. And Laurence will kind of, today we're going to work just on the 2 hooks, what I call them, when we sing the sing gently on these sections. And I'll explain why in a bit, but Laurence is going to lead us through some warm-ups that activate that gentle, tender part of our register. Then we'll work on the music for about 10 minutes, and then I'll take questions for about 10 minutes. We'll try to keep the whole thing to about half an hour, because I know a lot of you have schedules. Beautiful. So without further ado, can I welcome to the stage
the stage being my lap,
my beautiful wife, Laurence Servaz. Say hi to Laurence, everyone.
There's the stage. Schöne Grüße. Yeah. All the languages. So Eric always mentions how much you like being in the choir. And one of the warm-ups apparently that they used to do was massaging each other.
Yeah.
Which will not work for a lot of you. But yeah. Anyway, before you make your videos for the virtual choir, maybe someone of the family can do like little massages, or you can stretch your neck. Very, very gentle stretches always help, or just move the shoulders just so that everyone feels relaxed and that there's not too much tension. That really helps for singing too. So next time we need like 30 minutes more to do
of the massage.
Do a deep stretch.
We'll start with yoga, definitely. Yeah, but actually this is really nice actually for people at home. Yeah, take a few moments and just kind of warm the body up.
And we're also in front of the computer for hours these days, right? So this, not good.
Yeah.
You can massage yourself also a little, just make sure that you feel loose.
I think it can't be said enough that a reminder that our instruments, unlike any other instrument, are our bodies. It's our body. And so this is, it's kind of a tuning thing. So yeah, let's, I would normally do, I guess, shoulders this way. If I was standing in front of the choir, kind of go back and then forward a little bit. And then, yeah, one of my favorite things to do, I don't know if you've ever done this in a typical choir, is then you give massages like this, you turn to the left, you give massages. I got all of this from my mentor, David Weiler, the man who changed my life and got me into choir. And I used to love this. And he'd go over and he'd play music. I think it's from Peter Pan. He played Captain Hook theme while we did it. And yeah.
Captain Hook with a hook.
Yeah. What's better for massaging, baby? Okay, so kind of get warmed up, and then real quick, I think also just warm up the face a bit. Yeah. It's just something I love to do.
If I only had a beard.
If we were together, I don't know if you ever do this when you're warming up, baby, but.
Absolutely. The thrilling lips, how do you say it?
Trilling.
Trill of the lips.
Yeah.
You can do this on, just start low, right? And when you do it, don't clench the jaw. Just make it all very loose. Maybe this works better than Botox.
It also just occurred to me, this is the moment when the other people in your house are like, yep, they've lost it.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know what cult they've joined, but
And just very simple things. When you're not in a choir or you're not used to using the voice in an artificial way like we do with singing, how to find the voice that is not the speaking voice, you'll find it just by yawning, really. Oh, doing these things. And when you wake up in the morning, oftentimes, I mean, this one especially goes, there's all these sounds, but just finding it, these things. So also a really nice warm up. If you really don't know the scales and all, you can just go, these things.
Can we do it together?
Yeah, for sure.
Ready? Yeah, just get the voice moving. It's good.
Can you imagine a whole orchestra that does this instead of like some Paganini? They're just all like, singers.
Yeah, no, baby, will you take us through a couple of scale things?
This is, everyone sings this on a different octave, right?
Yeah, and for basses, this is no problem, but tenors, this is a super low note. We'll slowly take it up, but what we're doing now is kind of gentle mezzo piano singing. We're just trying to activate that soft, gentle part of the voice for the bit that we're about to do. Shall we start there on the G? Here we go, everyone.
Do that one again. And then we go a semitone higher. Again.
Ready, and. Excellent. I feel warm. That's good. Yeah, that's perfect to start with. Thank you, baby. Laurent Servaz, everyone. Laurence will be sitting right here, by the way, if we need her for anything. And also, if you have any questions for me as we're doing this, just post them in the comments here. Laurence will be checking in, and she can let me know if any questions pop up. Okay, so now what we'll do, let's work on the piece for about 10 minutes, okay? So if you'll grab your scores now, and we're going to start in measure 21. So the idea here in measure 21 is I keep referring it to the hook. And any of you who know pop music know the hook that's the bit that you always remember, right? That's since you've been gone, I don't know why Kelly Clarkson popped into my head. Maybe because Since You've Been Gone is the perfect pop song. But when she sings Since You've Been Gone, that's the hook, that bit where everything kicks in. It's the most memorable part of the melody. And it's always the heart of the song. And when I composed this, I really wanted this moment to feel like a hook. Not pop music necessarily, but that we're leading, we're building, and then boom, here's the heart of the piece. Because what we're trying to communicate now is the idea of singing gently. And that, of course, is a metaphor. So it's much deeper than just sing gently. It's a way of moving through the world. It's being soft and gentle and compassionate and empathetic with each other. And ideally, the music is going to invite people to feel that as we do it. So let's start here at the beginning, and we'll sing through just the parts and see what we. Here we are at 21. Ready? 2, sing. Sing gently, always sing as one as one. Good, just that much. All right, so ultimately, this kind of rehearsal isn't going to help us too much in terms of making an ensemble, because really, in this artificial way of doing a choir, that's all going to come from that guide track that you're listening to, and that's up on the website. You'll see that I posted this morning on my social media account. You can see the faces of those 4 guide track singers. They're all friends of mine. They all sing in the Eric Whitacre Singers in London. I love their voices, and they're going to give us a really nice idea of how to sing all of this. Here's something that I want you to think about as we do this, and the entire piece is designed this way. So it's a simple idea that's going to hold true for everything we do, and that's that the piece is written with this idea of 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's kind of a strong, soft, it's this kind of way of moving through the world. And so even as we do this, so sopranos and altos, sing, then lean back, then push, pull, push, pull. You see that kind of thing? And then tenors, there in measure 23, when you come in on beat 3, you're actually going to start a little soft and push into beat 1. Bass is also when you sing that. So push, pull. That's how we want that to all sound. One of the things that I've discovered over doing all these virtual choirs, which never ceases to amaze me, is that the dynamics that we sing with actually show up in the finished product. It's totally amazing to me. And it's not the dynamics necessarily of the amount of sound that we're making, because of course we can just mix that down, but it's the color of our voices when we're singing softer. So let's go again here from the top of this, and let's sing this hook. You ready? 2, go. Sing. Oops. Sing. Yes, excellent. So, this is Sorry Sopranos. What's funny is I originally wrote it that way, and then I changed it to this because I find it just a little more haunting, a little more Thomas Newman-esque, if you will. Good. So that's the basic idea as we approach that thing. Now let's go to the same thing. This is the hook, but now in measure 45. This is the second hook. And if we were able to rehearse in person like this, what I would say to you is that while both are written pianissimo, 45 is more intimate. It's more tender. So generally the way that I compose a piece of music is I'll start with what I call the primer. So we start the piece that's just piano. And for any of you who were watching when I did this the other day, the idea here is that we start disparate, far apart from each other. Those two notes are way apart from each other. And then that third is the glue always. And I love that dissonance. That for me is kind of what we're all going through right now. That's just that constant feeling of, I don't even know what it is. It's a kind of a melancholy, I guess. It's a little, or quite painful. Whatever that thing is, all of that the emotional material for the piece is in the first couple of measures. So then when we get to the hook, and then we get a variation on that. So now at measure 45, when we sing here, right? So tenors, now you're that little gold that's binding those parts together. So we sing. And then sopranos. Let's try that right there. Sopranos and altos. Ready? 2, go. Actually, this might be an interesting thing to do. We're going to do a sectional tomorrow. But for now, let's just hear altos and sopranos. So basses and tenors, if you'll just listen along. This is also my favorite thing, by the way. This is one of the things that I miss so much about doing it this way. If you're in a live rehearsal, right? And for me, as a bass, they'll say basses and tenors, why don't you relax and let's just hear the altos and sopranos. I just love sitting in the choir, in the room, and hearing those other voices around me. It's like having the best seat in the house. So let's go measure 45. Ready? Just sopranos and altos. 2, 3, and off. And off. Yes, good. Okay, so that's sopranos and altos. And basically sopranos, something to look out for, 45, 46, 47, 48. In 49, you want to make sure that you're cutting off there, sing. So hold that just a little longer than a beat. Dum, dum, bum, ba-dum. Then here, as one, then we start to open it up. Here we go. And altos, I always give my favorite lines to the altos. Sorry, sopranos, don't listen to this part. But for me, sopranos get all the glory. You know, they're stars anyway. Well, actually, tenors get all the glory because everybody loves tenors. It's hard to get tenors. So tenors get all the glory. Sopranos get the melody all the time. Basses don't really care. And the altos always get the leftovers. You know, the altos are always singing. Well, altos, this is a perfect example. At the beginning of this piece, I flipped the switch, if you will. So normally an alto line would be, we sing together always. That's a classic alto line, right? But this time, the sopranos get to do that because you've got all the fun later on sopranos. But the altos here, they get the meat of the melody. And I'm always trying to do that with altos, give them something just a little left of center, something fun. And altos for you, this moment comes at the end of 52. So you're with the alto, with the sopranos in unison, and you sing. And then there's our motive again, right? From the beginning. So lean into that altos as you go across the bar line. And then you also get, right? So it's two nice push pulls that you get in both of those places. Basses and tenors, let's try you now from the same place. Measure 45, you ready? 2, go. Good basses and tenors. So a couple of things to look out for. Again, basses on gently. This is a nice meaty part of the bass register, and it's really easy to oversing here. So think gently, and then always. This is one of my favorite things to do for basses, guys, is where we go up in the register, and naturally, anytime you go up as a bass, it's just going to get louder. You can't help it. But this way, so that it disappears. Tenors in both places, I'm trying to give you a really fun line here. So for instance, in 47, gently always. So not only do you get to lean across the bar line, but also you get, and then the sopranos, you get that both of those. And so on each of those tenors, lean in just a little bit on those little knife twists, if you will. Good. I think just looking at the time, this is a good amount of rehearsal just for today to see if this works and what's helpful. I'd love to hear all of your feedback as we get into this. One of the things that I want to point out as we're doing this is first, there's a soprano and an alto sectional tomorrow, and then there's a tenor and bass sectional on Thursday. So if you're a soprano, show up tomorrow at the scheduled time. This is all on the virtualchoir6.com site. And you'll see exactly when sopranos show up, and it'll just be sopranos. So I'll rehearse with you, and we'll work out all the breaths, all the breath marks.
Where the S's are, where the T's are.
Exactly. So that's during the sectionals, we're going to work out all of that stuff, gang. Where to put the T's, where to put the S's, where to breathe, all of this stuff. It's kind of detailed, and it'll take us too long to do it for all the different parts here. The other thing that I want to say, and this is as we get into the breathing parts here, for any of you out there who are having difficulty with some of these long lines, I try to make them as short as possible. Schoenberg very famously said that a melody is any group of notes that you can sing in one breath. Or sorry, a phrase is any group of notes that you can sing in one breath. And if any of you have sung my music, you'll know that's not entirely true. Usually I'm making people stagger breathe for minutes at a time. I always joke that my ideal choir singer has gills. But in this case, we have a lot of people joining us who are struggling with the breathing. First, people who have actually suffered with the COVID-19 virus. We've got lots and lots of notes from people saying they're just recovering from this and they're really having a hard time breathing. And then we've got people with asthma and immunocompromised people, and all of our friends from the cystic fibrosis community are here. Some of these lines are simply going to be too long. And so if you don't get this in any of the sectionals, don't worry about it. The perfect guide for this are the guide vocals. I spoke with all of them and exactly what they're doing. That's the place to breathe and the length of the phrases. But if you can't do that, that's okay. One of the beautiful things about choir is that all of us singing it together are going to smooth out those rough edges. So do your best with what's written. But if there's a phrase that's too long that you just need to take a breath with, no problem. We're going to go all over these nuts and bolts during the sectionals, but I think that's good for rehearsals now. Laurence has written down some questions that some of you have.
Yeah, so recap, they can see this live recording again, right? It'll be on the Virtual Choir 6 website, under the think tank, I believe, and also here on YouTube. They can find it. So you can watch all of this again.
That's right.
And then for the sectionals, a recap, when the sectionals are, because people don't know.
Yeah, so the sectionals begin at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's tomorrow. Or are we on Pacific Daylight? No, Pacific Standard Time. So 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm in Los Angeles. So I think sopranos are tomorrow at 10. Altos are at 10:30. And then the following day, Thursday, tenors are at 10 and basses are at 10:30. I think I've got that right, but just check the schedule. It's all up there in case I made a mistake.
People are asking for what kind of basic device they can use to upload their videos to do the recording.
Yeah. So instead of me getting the nuts and bolts of which device you can use, if you'll go to the frequently asked questions section at the Virtual Choir 6 page, that it's got all of that. Or even better, just jump over to the Virtual Choir 6 Facebook group. I think we've got something like 10,000 members there now. If you just post your questions, somebody will answer it this fast. There's a lot of people who are volunteering their time and are really experts with this stuff.
And then some people are asking if the notes are too high or too low for them. Can they octavate it? So can they sing it an octave higher or lower, or do they not sing it at all?
Yeah. So here's the game, gang. That if there's a note that's out of your range, so if it's too low or if it's too high, just don't sing it. That's better actually than singing it in the wrong octave, because that'll change the music quite a bit. So if it is that place, then yeah, just don't sing that note. However, I think if you show up at the sectionals tomorrow, we can address this. And I'll bet for 99% of you, we can get you singing that note. The registers here are pretty conservative, so I think we can get you singing it.
Yeah. Question about vibrato on the notes that they're holding out.
Yeah. So in general, for pieces like this, I prefer little vibrato, just a little. That being said, we're not going to belt and do a Broadway thing, but Laurence, will you demonstrate real quick, just say maybe on a D, starting soft and singing with no vibrato, and then just adding vibrato towards the end of a phrase? I could listen to this all day. Okay, so what Laurence is doing, you hear it, is just this beautiful expressive technique, right? That you start with no vibrato, and then as you crescendo, you just naturally add a little vibrato. I'm completely fine with that. I think it warms the sound up, and it's quite beautiful. What you want to do always is don't go too crazy with it, right? So imagine that you're part of an ensemble, and that sound has to blend, right? So just a little touch of vibrato to kind of make it more expressive as we crescendo.
And then questions about the pronunciation of the diphthongs in words like sound, music, and one.
Yeah. Okay, so the diphthongs, sound, where do you put all those vowels? Let's do this in the sectionals. This is real nuts and bolts stuff, and we can go through each word and make sure that we've got it exactly right.
At the very end of the piece, do they close their mouth to an N and then fade out, or?
Yes. Okay. So this is a great question, because in the singers who are doing the guide track, they all do a different, this is on the last chord, right, everybody? When we're here. The question is, when do we close to that end? Do we close to that end? Now, if you watch the guide track singers, they close sort of towards the end of it, then they kind of come to an end. The thing is, for me, it doesn't matter. So what I like is, instead of everybody doing it exactly the same time, if we just find within those two bars a place to gradually close to the end. So if you're here, basses, and just slowly close to that end. So not one, but one. Wherever it happens, with all of these voices put together, then we'll just get this beautiful, lush kind of close. The randomness will actually help it. So just be musical about it.
There's also just cool things happening in the chat box.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of instrumentalists who are also participating in this choir. So that's really great. People from band and orchestra that are also singing now. So
yes, we love that. We love that. By the way, for those of you who are just joining, I see the numbers keep going up and are wondering who this beautiful woman is sitting next to me. This is
who is this? Yeah. Where did she come from?
This is my wife, Laurence Servaz. She's an extraordinary professional soprano, and so I'm going to be asking her to help us learn to sing with really beautiful vocal technique. Any of you listening to me sing know that I'm a tragic figure. I have the heart and soul of a singer. I just don't have the voice. I think it's really why I became a choral composer. But
truly, he's always singing. I never sing. I sing when I'm studying.
I sing everywhere. I sing in the shower. I sing when I'm walking around. First thing when I wake up and when I go to sleep at night, my heart is full of song. I wasn't given the instrument. It's truly tragic. And there are days when I think I would trade it all to wake up and have a voice like this. Yeah.
Just practice, man. Practice. 10 years. Anyway, and then we also going to talk about the NAMM Foundation.
Yeah. Okay. So last thing that we'll say, gang.
They got to register on Zoom.
Okay, perfect. Yes, is that when is it happening? It's happening soon. I think at 12 o'clock Pacific. So in 1 hour from now, 1 hour and 10 minutes, I'll be doing a webinar with the NAM Foundation. Incredible foundation. They've been great supporters of this virtual choir. And it'll be like, I think, a 45-minute to an hour-long Q&A. You can ask questions, you can submit them, and I'll talk about anything about music, my life in music, a career in music. So please go over and check that out. It's a Zoom webinar. And so that means they can only have 1,000 people in there. So if you're interested, you want to register now before they run out of room. All of this information it's all over my social media stuff. So you can just look for it, but head on over there. And then last thing before we go is just to say, like I said at the beginning here, we're trying to figure this out. We're trying to figure out what's helpful in terms of rehearsing a choir and rehearsing all of you, what you'd like. So any of your feedback, if you want to leave it here or leave it on any of my social media pages, especially the Facebook Virtual Choir 6 group, if you want to join that and leave comments there, it's just a beautiful way for me to see what's helping, what's not, and what we can do more of. Laurence and I are honored to have you here in our little home. And I'm so excited about what we're making. I feel like every virtual choir to me has been special for different reasons, but this one it just seems, I don't know, there's some beautiful energy behind it, and seeing all of your comments, the 300 videos that have been made and submitted so far are gorgeous, tender singing. Yeah, I think we're doing something really special, and it's what I hoped at the beginning of this, is that it's something that we can give to people who really need it right now. So bye for now, and we'll see you soon.